The Board of Appeals, April 21, 2022 meeting. The time being 7 p.m., Lamar Advertising Company requests a modification pursuant to the Code of the Town of Foxboro, Massachusetts, Chapter 213, Signs, of Special Sign Permit, Case Number 2019-11, Condition 1, by deleting the words, quote, "The edge of the proposed billboard shall not be less than 16 feet," end quote, and substituting the words, quote, "The edge of the billboard shall not be less than 11.5 feet," end quote, from Washington Street's road layout. The billboard is located at 124 Washington Street in Sign District 1. Gentlemen, want to join us?
Can we approach?
Sure. We don't need a motion for that, do we? Oh, that's right, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to let everyone know that I filed a disclosure of appearance of conflict of interest with the town hall today. The reason for that is that I serve on the board of directors of Pond Home and Pond Meadows with Mr. Caspara, who'll be discussing this request with us tonight. So just wanted to inform the board I had filed that disclosure. Thanks.
Also, we have a letter from Greg Spear, trustee of Pine Brook Office Park Condo Association. It's addressed to Diana Gray. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town for the upcoming meeting and would like to have Bill Caspara speak as my agent as owner of the property located at 124 Washington Street in Foxboro, Pine Brook Office Park.
In that case, I'd like to sell his property if I'm his agent. It's a problem with a small town. Everybody knows everybody, right? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, for the record, I'm Bill Caspara, and I'm here on behalf of Lamar Advertising. I'm with Matt Renninger, the real estate manager for Lamar. Also with us is Mike Murphy, the general manager for Lamar Advertising as well. And as you had stated, we're here to request a modification of a previous special sign permit that the board issued. It was case number 2019-11 for a billboard at 124 Washington Street, and we're requesting a modification of condition 1. At that time, there was a condition that the billboard was to be no closer than 16 feet to the road layout on Washington Street. And it was based on a site plan that was submitted at the time by Bay Colony. With that, I'm going to turn that over to Matt, who can give you a little history on why we're here in front of you and what happened when the billboard was erected. So, Matt, if you can fill the board in with why we're here, that would be great.
Thanks, Bill, and thanks, members of the board. As you folks know, this sign was approved in November of 2019. Typically, structures are built within weeks, if not a couple of months after approvals are obtained. Shortly after this was approved, the pandemic happened. It shifted our entire outlook. The sign got put off for a couple of years. We didn't know if it was going to ultimately be built at all. At the time, right after this was approved, we obtained state approval from Mass DOT. This required us to put a stake in the ground where the center pole was going to be. It required other firm measurements that matched the decision of November 2019, and those were done. Unfortunately, when 2021 and we moved forward with this sign, the trees had been removed, the stakes had been removed, and for whatever reason that is still somewhat of a mystery, but seems to be a worst case of some miscommunication between various parties, engineers, Lamar subcontractors and the like. The structure ultimately, as everyone knows, was not built to the specifications of the November 2019 decision. I can say that this was the only first time that this has ever occurred in my time with Lamar, which is only 8 years in the business, but I can say our operations manager, who's been with Lamar for decades, has also never seen this occur, and our GM, Mike, has also never seen this occur. I believe this was just a cacophony of errors and bad luck, and unfortunately, we were notified by the interim building commissioner of our mistake, and after a quick investigation, we found that we were indeed in the wrong, and we set immediately to rectify that error, and that's what brings us in front of the board today.
So I don't think Kim or Lorraine were aware of the communication back and forth between Paul DeBadges, who was the interim building commissioner, and the contractor. I think, Scott, you were aware of it, even though you hadn't started yet.
I just came in on the latter end of it, yes.
So there was some communication back, and I think one of the contractors was disputing what Paul had found, and Paul made the comment, of course I read the zoning board decision. I've been in this business for 40 years or what have you, and I always read the decision. But fortunately, when Matt did contact, Paul, you did indicate that you want to work with the town of Foxboro and rectify the error, and obviously that's why you're here. Bill called me shortly thereafter, and we discussed what the best way to handle it was, and I suggested that a request to modify the decision would be the least costly and the most effective way of addressing the issue. So I got a couple of questions. The RMG plan that was submitted as part of the application, is that replacing the initial plan from, I think it was Outdoor Specialists?
Yes, and yes.
Okay.
What we have and what was submitted, our engineering specs, is the modifications that will take place to shift the face to the new plan of 11.5.
So essentially the pad and the pole are not being moved at all?
Correct.
It's just the face of the sign can you explain that, or?
Well, our operations manager is not with us, but what I can say is generally there is a part of the face that can be adapted to shift it over. It's not uncommon in the field to move or apply to move a structure's face one way or the other. A center pole can turn into on the left edge or on the right edge. Sometimes this happens throughout the country because a building goes in and starts blocking the sign, or the roadway changes, or vegetation or other obstructions. It is common to make the board or the structure modifiable. And that's what is in place here. And even though we have, two different engineering from late 2019 to today, we're dealing with the same materials, the same type of designs, the same type of modifications. So you really can see a lot of plug and play, which is kind of what we're applying for here.
So essentially the sign itself is just being shifted?
Yes.
Shifted back, almost like it was on a rail or something of that nature?
That's pretty much it.
Okay. And the current, Bay Colony plan, which shows that it is, well, the existing billboard location that Bay Colony did shows the sign as it would be constructed in error would only be a little bit more than 5 feet.
Yep.
And the new plan would show it would be 11.5,
Correct.
which would be consistent with the sign bylaw, which requires a minimum of 10 feet, so. Okay. Kim and Lorraine, any questions?
So it's supposed to be 16, it's currently 5.2, and you're here asking for 11.5.
Yes, that is the max that we could shift the face over.
I don't have any questions.
Scott, any questions? Are you satisfied with the construction?
Yes, as long as I get the structurals on that, and I can amend the application with that, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I can actually give you a copy of them.
Awesome.
So there are actually two conditions that need to be modified, in addition to the first one as requested, because we're essentially replacing the outdoor specialist plan with the RMG plan and the old Bay Colony plan with the revised plan. We would have to revise the wording of the second condition. I don't think any of the other conditions need to be modified.
If I may, condition 2 of the old sign permit didn't have a date. So we might, I suggest on condition 2 on, state the date of the new site plan.
I
For
think
clarity.
what I'll do is, we'll attach the new plan as an exhibit, and I'll just refer to, the new plan itself.
Very good.
So the date, when I do reference it in the decision, it'll have the date of the plan.
Very good.
So unless there's any other questions, Kim, do you?
Nope.
Lorraine? Okay.
Can we close the hearing?
Yeah, want to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, so what I would suggest is that we approve the modification. And I have two conditions. One would be that we delete the second sentence of condition 1 and replace it with the following new sentence. Quote, "The edge of the proposed billboard shall not be less than 11.5 feet from Washington Street road layout." When I say proposed billboard, that'll be the wording I'll use in the decision. And condition 2 is that we delete the references in condition 2 to the outdoor specialist plan and the Bay Colony plan respectively, replacing them with the RMG plan and the revised Bay Colony plan. That's how I'll define this. And rewording such condition to read as follows, quote, "The construction and design of the proposed billboard shall be as set forth in the RMG plan, and the proposed billboard shall be situated on the property as set forth in the revised Bay Colony." Okay,
Makes sense.
any questions?
Nope.
Motion to approve with those?
I move to approve the application with the conditions as read by Barney.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay.
Thank you very much.
We'll have something for you next week.
Mr. Rediger has some large plans here, if you'd like to,
gonna-
if Diana would like those for the record.
I mean, I think we're okay with the record, but Scott, would you want the large ones?
I can take those.
Okay. Great.
Thank you very much. See everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. I guess we'll see you soon.
See you in a couple months.
Yeah, as I'll explain soon.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Actually, do you want to hang in for that, or are you going?
Go.
Okay.
Mr. Shippey can handle that one.
What's that?
You can handle the next hearing, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good seeing you again. Okay, the time being 7:10 PM, we have the continued public hearing. Sherry Alberti requests a special permit pursuant to the code of the town of Foxboro, Massachusetts, Chapter 275 zoning, Section 3.1.6, Table 3-1, Table of Uses, Use L10, and Section 3.2.2 to allow locksmith automotive security services as a home occupation at 201 North Street. Property is located in the R40 residential zoning district and is not located in any restrictive overlay districts. Scott, you want to update us on your escapades with this in the last few weeks?
I've made several site visits to this. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I made several site visits to the place. There is work being done, and it is proceeding, but it was not going to be in time of this hearing. So I spoke to Ms. Alberti and explained her options, and I advised her to get seek legal counsel and to see what procedures she should follow. But Diana and I received several emails from her. I think the last one was requesting the withdrawal.
Yeah, I put a copy on the top of the file.
Yeah, I'll read it, yeah.
So that's where we are today. It's still not hooked to water. It's still not, I can't issue a CO to it. There is a supply chain, as everybody knows. There is some supply chain issues, but it's going to take some time for her to get to the position of getting that CO. I could not even issue a temporary at this time, and that building cannot be occupied.
Okay, so we have is it come to you as an email, Diana?
Yeah.
An email from Ms. Alberti. I guess it was directed to Scott.
Yes.
She starts off, "Thank you again, Scott. I understand the occupancy situation for the rear home construction. I'm looking for the correct way to let the board know that they do not have to meet tomorrow, and I am not sure how that is done exactly. I will try calling the main office tomorrow or go in person, as I do not want to hold a meeting that no one has any answers to without proper process. I am asking for the right way to proceed from the town for our current occupancy. I am not asking for legal advice here, just procedure. I just want to do what is right, not take up anyone's time and continue working, and that we have no other options. Unfortunately, timing falls on vacation these past 2 weeks, and getting legal help with this matter cannot happen at the timing of this meeting. We do need to keep working to pay our employees and all the construction expenses. I would assume that means paying for a current occupancy. This letter," and in parentheses she says email, "would be my withdrawal in writing, if it is allowed, as I have emailed 3 times now with no reply other than yours here, again, timing. Thank you again for your time. It is much appreciated. Sincerely, Sherry Alberti." I think in one of the emails, she indicated June 30th as when she thought the work would be done.
That's a stretch.
That's a stretch, okay.
That's a stretch. There has been progress. There has been some progress. I drove by several times this week, and I have seen contractors in there. She still needs to get connections to utilities, so there is quite a bit of work to be done. But she is making progress, more than in the past.
More than the past 15 years.
Exactly.
Okay. So I think just a motion to approve the withdrawal without prejudice.
Motion to approve the withdrawal without prejudice.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Danny, you just shoot her an email, let her know? Okay.
Well, I did. I told her that the event, that was good, and that she wouldn't need to talk to me anymore, but I still did.
So this might be one of our shortest meetings ever here. So last month, Kim indicated that there was a fair amount of misinformation relative to comprehensive permits. And we were talking about the possibility of an article in the newspaper to address the issue. And when I thought about it, I felt that an article really wouldn't cover all of the things that I felt we should cover, and therefore would not allow us to really control the dialogue. So I spoke with Bill Keegan about it, and then separately spoke with Paige Duncan about it, and suggested to them perhaps for what we'll call frequently asked questions, even though they're frequently asked questions by me, would serve the purpose, and they agreed. Obviously, I drafted something, and you've seen it. Let me know if that's the way you want to go.
I think it makes sense, because then people have something that they can hang on to and not speculate without some solid information in front of them.
I think this is wonderful. I can't imagine how much time this took you to put
Oh, I
this
wasn't,
all together.
I wasn't timing myself, because I didn't do it all at once. It was maybe an hour here, 2 hours there.
I
But
just think if these are your questions, it should say Barney's frequently asked questions.
Interestingly enough, as I was doing it, it raised a question in my mind, and I couldn't find the answer that I was looking for. I mean, the regulations said one thing, and I said to myself, I'm uncomfortable with that. So I called Judy Barrett,
No good.
who will be our consultant. She said, she didn't say dummy, but it was like, it's in the statute itself. Go find it. So So what I would suggest is that we put this on the website, and perhaps when the,
There is a numbering problem.
there is? In what sense?
It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9,
That's probably,
11, 12,
that's probably because I was moving things around.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
All right, you want to renumber it and send it to you again?
Yeah, I mean, I can try it, but sometimes if I try to renumber your things, it
Yeah.
does funny stuff.
Let me renumber it or correct it, and then I'll email it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
So what I would suggest, we put it on the website, and then we can reference it at the
Where do you want me to
public hearing.
put it? Like there's the main body, I can put a link there, or I can make a sublink thing on the side.
What you do is a sublink thing on the side. Because when we get into the permit, the comprehensive permit, I'll probably want you to put all the documentation on the website, so you probably
Yeah.
want a link there as well.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, a couple weeks ago, I gave Bill Buckley a call to find out where he was. He still had some engineering work to do before the Moore Street application would be completed. And he thought that he would have the work done in time that an application could be filed late in May. And then a few days later, Bill Caspara called, because he's working with the applicant, with Mike Say, and indicate they will file at the end of May. So what we will be doing is the following. Because I am away the week of our regular meeting, and because we have an extra Thursday in June, and everybody seems to be available then we'll have the public hearing on the June 30th date.
Okay.
So we won't have a June 16th meeting.
Mr. Chair, I will not be available.
Okay, don't worry, you'll see plenty.
I'll be available the next time, not the next
We'll
one.
see plenty. So again, we won't have a June 16th meeting. If we have any other applications to consider, we'll consider them on June 30th.
Okay.
Now, I had mentioned that in talking with Lorraine. She said, well, do we have to call a special meeting? But the rules and regulations allow us to have regular meetings on the third Thursday of each month or such other day as we may determine. So unless anybody has any objections, we'll do it on the third. I spoke with Dave already, and he's fine with that. I know in August you are away, and you were away, correct? We could possibly, Diana, have a meeting, I think you said August 4th?
The planning board only meets once in August. I'm pretty sure it's the 11th, so we could do the 4th, the 25th, or there's a 5th Thursday in September also.
Yeah, the 5th Thursday in September we'll need, because I'll be away the regular meeting.
Oh,
date
you're away,
then.
yeah, you wrote that one too.
So it's possible, what, you said the last week in August?
Lorraine, I think, is out.
I'm out.
Okay,
So August 4th, yeah, August 4th, I think, because the rest of August is kind of messed up. Lorraine's in and out, Kim's out. So August 4th, I think that's why we ended up on that date.
okay, and you never heard from Kurt on that, did you?
No.
Okay, so we'll play August by ear, we'll decide that when the hearing begins. If we have an August 4th meeting, I would only have it on the comprehensive permit.
Okay.
If there's other applications, we'll have them on a regular date, and Dave, Kurt, and I can handle it. But we'll worry about that on June 30th. We'll set up a schedule on June 30th.
Okay. In September, you said we'll be doing the 5th?
The fifth Thursday,
The
which
5th
I think
Thursday,
is,
so that'll be the 29th?
yes.
Okay,
And again, we'll discuss that as we
Yes.
go along.
yes.
See, my problem with the June meeting is though I'll be relatively local, I feel for the first meeting I should be here in person instead of doing it.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Come September, I'll hopefully be in Europe, so it'll be a little bit difficult to do something by Zoom.
Yes.
I got an email a couple days ago from Paige in which he indicated that the developer for the, not the Walnut Street property would like to, thinks he will be able to file in the summer. I hope that's not the case, because I'd like to not have to deal with two 40Bs at the same time.
Please.
If we,
I don't think they,
if we have to, we have to, but
have they even applied for their project eligibility letter?
I don't know.
I think they just got awarded the
I
project.
don't know.
so-
Yeah, don't know.
Yeah, they still have a long way to go if they did.
I mean, that's why it seems overly optimistic if they haven't. But I think it's probably more likely than not that we'll have two of them this calendar year. Hopefully, they won't be at the same time, but we'll have them. I think there's a better chance than not that we'll have two of them this year. Be nice if we had a month or two in between, but we'll see. So. The only other piece of business that I have, we have the minutes. So any,
No, they
Okay.
look good.
okay?
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor? The only other thing is your term is up at the end of May. Or now that you know there are 240Bs, do you want to stay or go?
Okay. Yes.
Yes? Okay, good, because I already contacted Kurt, and he's okay. He'll stay. So that's all that I have. Scott, anything for us, or
Nope, just extremely busy.
good?
We have one
Short-staffed.
application already for next month, another variance for a garage. McNamara, I'm pretty sure. McNamara Way, Lane, whatever.
So is that a oversized garage, or?
No, it's a, I don't know, he says there's wetlands, so he wants to put it on this side of the yard, just close to the side yard setback. And then that other home occupation lady's still floating around. I hear from her every once in a while, so, she's still trying to get her stuff together.
You got another week, right?
Yep.
So, okay.
You might have a couple more coming too.
But next
Sorry.
month?
No, I've been getting a lot of DBAs lately. And a lot of them are doing home office or home occupation. And if it triggers that intensive bylaw, so I'm sending them right down here, so. Some of them don't trigger it, and they're just like office space. But as soon as they have patrons come into their property, it triggers it.
Yeah.
It triggers it automatically. The bylaws are really specific on that, so I advise them that they need to apply for a special permit to the ZBA. I think it was like one or two. I can't tell you. Everything's a blur this week.
Yeah. And Diane, I think you mentioned the woman who's floating around. It's what, a hairdresser, or?
No, it's some kind of therapy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
A couple of people, a couple of days a week or something.
I think I remember seeing that.
Meadowbrook, Meadowview, or it's right down the street from the North Street lady. A couple houses down.
Okay. Well, if we have a couple next month, I may ask somebody to help with the decision, so we'll see. Kim and I have talked about that, but we didn't talk about you doing it, but we talked about that. Yeah. Anything else? Okay.
Record breaking.
I know.
So motion to adjourn?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.